Well, wouldn't the free market we're taught in school, if we have what you people are calling for, I mean, it sounds nice when you talk about it, but really it's going to lead to monopolies. It's going to lead to wicked people, short little people with white mustaches carrying sacks of money with dollar signs on them running around. They're going to be running the economy. And that's what you libertarians want. You love corporations, man. Well, okay, for one thing, if we love corporations so much, how come they don't donate to us? Okay? There are some corporations that would rather see the whole world burn to the ground than have a free market. But in fact, this whole free market yields monopolies thing, first of all, it comes in part from what we learned in junior high school. Because I remember when I was in junior high school, I just couldn't believe how anyone could support the market economy. I couldn't understand this. It leads to these monopolists who dominate, who have the economy by the throat, and only our progressive leaders could possibly emancipate us from this terrible serfdom and all that. But when you actually look at it, it's true. You have some really predatory entrepreneurs who are using their political connections to get them special benefits, tariffs that protect them from competition and whatever. But when you look at people who didn't do that, you actually have people I don't see why I'm supposed to despise. Why am I supposed to despise Cornelius Vanderbilt, for example? This is a guy who, before he got into railroads later in his career, he's a guy who defied the government's steamboat monopoly in the New York area. And then when the monopoly was overturned, he competed with existing steamboat companies, and he would say, well, you want to go from A to B? It used to be $3 a trip, now it's 10 cents a trip on my boat. Or on some trips he would say, it costs you nothing. You can ride for free, but I hope you're hungry because I'll make money selling you food. This was an astonishing contribution to the world. Or then he used his railroad to transport mail. And he's transporting mail across the country, and he's competing against a subsidized railroad line. He's getting government money, and he's still doing it for a quarter of the rate. And the subsidized line goes out of business, and he prospers. Why am I supposed to dislike a benefactor of mankind like this? Why am I taught that this is the wicked person, but the great, wise, benign, benevolent people are these U.S. presidents whose faces look down upon me from the top of the classroom wall? Why is that? Well, it's a rhetorical question. So, of course, we talk about Andrew Carnegie. Single-handedly, the guy reduces the price of steel rails in a quarter century from $160 a ton to $17 a ton. I'm supposed to hate that guy? Now, Rockefeller, okay, you could talk about the things his foundation did, whatever. That's a separate question. I'm talking about as an entrepreneur. I mean, this is a guy who takes the price of kerosene and drops it from $1 to 10 cents. Now, the government can't ever do anything like this. This improves everybody's standard of living, because now everything that uses that as an input gets cheaper. Everything that uses steel as an input gets cheaper. People's standard of living rises across the board. All the government can do is take stuff from some people and give it to you. And that is, not only is that a wash, it's a dead weight loss because of the inefficiencies and everything else involved. But these people actually did improve people's standard of living. And this goes on today, and we are taught to despise people who are involved in commerce. Also, okay, so then the claim is, but we do have monopolists, and then they take over, and then they can drive their competitors out of business. They just make their prices super low, nobody compete with them, they drive everybody out of business. It's called predatory pricing. Again, I've talked about that in some books. I have an article coming out on this from the Future of Freedom Foundation in a little while. But for now, I'll just say that there's almost no evidence of this ever actually happening. There are firms that drive other firms out of business, yes, but that's consumers drive those firms out of business, not the firm, really. But where's the suddenly high prices that they're supposed to then impose on the rest of us? They never materialize. And there are a whole lot of reasons for that. There are a whole lot of reasons that predatory pricing is a counterproductive strategy. And there are a whole lot of ways, market mechanisms, that even if that were possible, that could fight against that. But as I say, I've got an article coming out on this, and I have so much else to say. I'll put that as a footnote. Check tomwoods.com. Eventually there'll be an article on predatory pricing. But I have talked about that in my Politically Incorrect Guide to American History. And finally, the antitrust laws. Notice that antitrust complaints do not typically come from consumers. Consumers do not go to the government and say, I am so sick and tired of paying so little for this product. I am so sick and tired of getting this product for free. Please do something about it. Never has. It's always the competitor. That should tell you something about what the real interests involved in that are.